who had his testimonial meeting here on Screen Sport back in April. He rides in white, he's in gate 3. Mark Thorpe from New Zealand, the very surprised man at the recent Commonwealth final at King's Lynn. He's in yellow and black, he's off of gate number 4. 500cc, clutch starts. Miles an hour, and it's 3 points for a win, 2 for second, 1 for third. And this is heat number 1 of the 1992 Overseas Speedway Final. The bikes roar, and the first one to show is Gary Havelock. Gary Havelock leads in red. Coming round the outside, and down goes Mark Thorpe. Tried to come round the outside of Andy Smith. Let's take a look at that one in slow motion. Now the question is, does Smith go out, or does Thorpe make a mistake? And well, I'll leave that answer to yours truly, but it did look as though Andy Smith went just a little bit wide. And there we see Mark Thorpe going back to the pits on a stretcher, which is not a nice sight to see. And with it, of course, 4 times World Individual Speedway champion. So the restaging of heat number 1 with all 4 riders back into the fray. Referee this afternoon, Neil Ringstrom from Sweden, says nobody is to be punished, and they're all back into the lineup. So the repeat: Havelock red 1, Smith blue 2, Miller white 3, Thorpe yellow and black gate 4. The restaging of heat number 1. Gary Havelock, who of course won that British Championship when he beat Martin Dugard for a run-off the last time we were here. And then in the Overseas finished 3rd at King's Lynn. Sorry, the Commonwealth finished 3rd at King's Lynn 2 weeks ago. So the restaging, and Havelock yet again makes a terrific drop from gate number 1. Now we've lost the rider in white, Rick Miller, with mechanical problems on the very first turn. So Gary Havelock leads in red with some breathing space between himself and Andy Smith in second place, Mark Thorpe 3rd. So Gary Havelock really has been like a man possessed so far this season, especially in World Championship circles. 1st in the British final, 3rd in the Commonwealth, and now looking pretty set for 3 points in this opening race here at Coventry again. Havelock leads, still from Andy Smith, tucked in behind him, and Mark Thorpe, I'm sure, after that nasty looking fall on the first staging of this opening race, will be perhaps just content to get the 1 point out of this one and try and get his momentum back for later in the programme. So coming around the final 2 bends of heat number 1 is going to be Gary Havelock, without a question of a doubt, who's going to get 3 points in the opening race. Havelock wins. 2nd place is Andy Smith, and 3rd place is Mark Thorpe. So a good win for the current British champion, and I'm sure that'll settle out any pre-meeting nerves that he had. 3 points already on the scoreboard. That's a nice position to be, especially winning heat number 1. Heat number 2, and in red is Shane Parker from Australia. Blue, gate 2, is Billy Hamill from the US of A. Simon Wigg, who we heard from earlier in the programme, he rides in white, gate 3. And Mike Freya, the current US national champion, in gate number 4 in yellow and black. This is heat number 2. Up go the tapes, and into that brand they drive, and the first one to show is Parker, and coming around the outside is Mike Freya in yellow and black. Parker, Freya, Hamill, and it's Freya who takes the drive around the outside. Shane Parker is in 2nd place, Billy Hamill 3rd. Hamill comes underneath Parker with terrific skill on that 3rd and 4th turn. So it is Mike Freya who leads, Billy Hamill 2nd, 3rd is Shane Parker, and Simon Wigg back in 4th position. 2 laps gone of heat 2, and Mike Freya still leads. Billy Hamill tucked in behind him, beginning to be just a little bit filled in. But Mike Freya took a very, very brave manoeuvre on that 1st and 2nd turn, and although not in British Speedway at the moment, he certainly knows his way around the Brandon Stadium. We're on the final lap of heat number 2, and Freya looking set to open his quest for a semi-final place with 3 points in heat number 2. Around the final 2 bends, and coming up to take the win is Mike Freya that gets there. 2nd place is Billy Hamill. In 3rd place is Shane Parker. So a good win for Mike Freya in yellow and black, and 3 points to him. Congratulations on that one. And it's time to tell you that from this quarter-final of the World Championship, there are 9 places available to go through to the semi-final stages. So 7 will be unlucky this afternoon. 7 riders, that is, unlucky. Heat 3, Mitch Shearer red, Sam Ermolenko blue, Paul Thorpe white, and Jason Lyons in yellow and black. Starting marshal calling them in. Calling Thorpe and Lyons just a bit closer to that starting tape. The green light goes on. And we're underway. Action roars into that first turn. Shearer, Ermolenko, Lyons, and just look at Jason Lyons' drive. Oh, there wasn't much room for him there, but he done it. Jason Lyons has made it. Sam Ermolenko goes out wide and Shearer's through to second place. But the braveness of this young Australian Jason Lyons, who has stepped up to Division 1 racing in 1992 with the Bellevue Aces, really kept that throttle wound open as he started to come out of the second turn and went round Mick Shearer and Sam Ermolenko. Terrific ride. So number 12 on his back. It is Jason Lyons who leads from Mick Shearer in second place. Sudden Sam Ermolenko relegated to third spot. But we're now entering the final lap of heat number 3. I'm sure this to do is chase runners, no harm whatsoever. Is Jason Lyons straightens up and comes out to take an early win. It's Lyons that gets there. Second place is Mick Shearer. Third place coasting home is Sam Ermolenko. But a very, very brave ride from number 12. 3 points from heat number 3. 2 goes to Mick Shearer and 1 only to Sam Ermolenko. Heat number 4, Marvin Cox comes out for his first ride in red, gate number 1. Martin Dugard there in blue, a very brave young English rider. Broke his collarbone in the Commonwealth final just 14 days ago, but back in the fray this afternoon. He's in blue, gate 2. Ronnie Corrie from America, gate 3 in white. And Calvin Tatum, the current overseas speedway champion at the moment in time, who of course relinquishes that crown this afternoon. He's in yellow-black on gate 4. Tapes rise, the clutches drops, and the first one to show is Tatum and Corrie, and Tatum goes round the pack on the first and second turn. So Calvin Tatum leads, Ronnie Corrie second, Marvin Cox in third place with 1 lap gone. Well, Calvin Tatum just about knows every inch of this Brandon circuit, having spent several seasons here racing for Coventry. Ronnie Corrie in second place at the moment. Cox still third with 2 laps gone, and Martin Dugard, who has got that broken collarbone at this moment, trailing in 4th position. So Calvin Tatum, who has been regarded as England's greatest hope for several seasons, and still an exceptional gauger on his day, and well, just look at Ronnie Corrie make a terrible mistake on the final lap, and that is going to cost the young American dearly. That gives Cox and Dugard points. But coming up and aware of what's happened is Tatum that gets the win. Second place is Marvin Cox, and in third position is Martin Dugard. So Ronnie Corrie there, an unforced error, or did he overslide or what? Let's take another look at that incident. Ronnie Corrie goes back to the pits. I'm sure he's going to be very disappointed with what happened there in heat number 4. And he just slides gracefully down to the track, but it did look as though he lost just a little bit of concentration as he went into the final lap of heat number 4. Heat number 5, all the riders have now had one outing here at Brandon. Calvin Tatum coming out for 2 on the trot. The track has been regraded. He's in red. Gary Havelock is in blue. Desperate for points, so watch for him in gate 4. Calvin Tatum a winner first time out, and Havelock there off 1 and 2 respectively. And it's Tatum who's just got the drop, and just look at Paul Thorpe come round and join him as he got the speed down the back straight. Thorpe and Tatum together, but Tatum has just got it. Tatum leads, and Havelock comes underneath Paul Thorpe and relegates him to third place. Now Shane Parker coming into the fray also comes underneath Paul Thorpe. So nearly from first position to 4th, Paul Thorpe in 1 lap of speedway. But it's Calvin Tatum that leads. Second place Gary Havelock. Third place is Shane Parker. And Calvin Tatum with number 13 on his back is looking pretty set for 6 points after 2 heats, and that's got to be good news for his quest for a semi-final position. Rides, of course, for Mariestad in the Swedish Elite League, which we should be seeing later on in our series here on Screen Sport in August and September. But it's coming around looking pretty sure of 3 more points here in heat number 5. It's Tatum that comes up to take the win. Second place is Gary Havelock, and a long, long way back to third place, which is Shane Parker from Australia. So Calvin Tatum is unbeaten at the moment on 6 points. 2 points to Gary Havelock, which puts him on 5, and just a solid point to Shane Parker. That's the result of heat 5. Heat number 6, Martin Dugard rides in red, Mitch Shearer blue, Andy Smith white, and Simon Wigg in yellow black. Wigg no points from his first outing, and Dugard 1, and Shearer and Smith both among the points already. So heat number 6 quite vital for red and yellow black. The starting marshal calling them in. Smith and Wigg the last two to settle in the outside gates. So for the green light to go on, it does. The tapes rise and those bikes roar into that first turn, and it's Dugard that's got there. Martin Dugard has got the drop down the back straight. He just leads from Mitch Shearer and from Simon Wigg. Wigg in second place on the outside and goes out terribly wide, and through comes Shearer, through comes Andy Smith, and Wigg is left for dead. So Martin Dugard, who desperately needed points, has now got just the daylight he requires in heat number 6 from Mitch Shearer in second place. Mighty Mitch, who now rides for Swindon in Division 1 after a close season transfer from Reading, and Andy Smith is back in third place. Martin Dugard races for Oxford in the Sunbright League with one more lap to go in heat number 6. Dugard still leads from Shearer second, from Smith third, and Dugard now will have 4 points after 2 outings. With somebody who's racing with a broken collarbone, that's got to be good news for his cause for a semi-final place. So Dugard wins with ease heat number 6. Second place is Mitch Shearer, and third place is Andy Smith. So congratulations to Martin Dugard. I'm sure he's going to be a lot happier in life after getting those 3 points for winning heat number 6. Heat number 7, Samar Malenko comes into gate number 1 in red. Marvin Cox there in blue, he goes into gate number 2. Billy Hamill is in white gate 3, and Rick Miller is in yellow and black gate number 4. So 3 Americans and 1 lone Englishman in heat number 7. That's his drop, those bikes drive into that first turn, and Ermolenko, and down goes the rider in white, Billy Hamill. Let's take another look, and it's certainly the rider in blue there, Cox, who goes out just a little bit wide and takes Billy Hamill's wheels away from him. So we'll have to wait and see what happens, what the referee says on that one. The referee says all 4 back for the restart of heat number 7. Ermolenko, Cox, Hamill and Miller in that order across the gate as they drop the clutch and go to that first turn, and it's Ermolenko who's got there. Miller and Cox is there, and Hamill is left for dead at the moment. So Ermolenko leads from Rick Miller in second place. Third is Marvin Cox, but Sam Ermolenko really was speeding away quite considerably as those tapes rose on heat number 7, the restart of heat 7. So Ermolenko looking pretty set for 3 points in the restart of this race. Sudden Sam Ermolenko races for Wolverhampton. Still Rick Miller in second place. Marvin Cox third. Ermolenko took Wolverhampton to that British League title in 1991. Wins heat number 7. Heat number 8, Mark Thorpe rides in red. Mike Freer rides in blue. Jason Lyons is in white. And Ronnie Corrie is in yellow and black. So the riders just resting the clutch as they make 1 or 2 last preparations before they get pulled into the start by the starting marshal. Heat number 8, after which all the racers will have had 2 outings. Mark Thorpe from New Zealand, Mike Freer from America, Jason Lyons from Australia, Ronnie Corrie from America. A cosmopolitan look to heat number 8 here at Brandon Stadium for the Overseas Speedway final. Pictures as always coming from the hot shot cameras and screen sporters that takes ride on this particular race, and it's very tight indeed, and it seemed to me that 3 riders tangled and all went down, and poor old Mark Thorpe's machine is revving its guts out. Pull the cutout, stud it up as he does indeed, and the engine comes to a blinding halt. Let's see what happens from the camera behind the start. And it looks to me as though yellow goes to white, white goes to blue, and red just takes the lot out, and the only one that missed the carnage was yellow and black Ronnie Corrie at the end of day. We'll have to see what the referee's decision is on the outcome of heat number 8. So there we see the blue helmet colour of Mike Freer, not racing in England or anywhere on the continent at the moment, just staying back in the United States of America. The referee's decision is all 4 riders back for the restart of heat number 8. So Mark Thorpe rides in red, Mike Freer blue, Jason Lyons in white, and Ronnie Corrie in yellow and black. go the tapes, and into that turn they roar. And look at Jason Lyons, he's got the drop. Lyons leads from Thorpe in second place. Jason Lyons really has been running exceptionally well for Bellevue, but his progression into this one and the way that he's took it by storm, as the rider in yellow back, Ronnie Curry, then comes through the pack to take second place from Mark Thorpe. Mark Thorpe going out terribly wide on that one, but it's still Jason Lyons that leads. Ronnie Curry in second place. Mike Freer now comes through the third. But Jason Lyons really doing exceptionally well here at Brandon Stadium this afternoon, and this would be his second win of the afternoon to join Calvin Tatum unbeaten after 2 outings. Jason Lyons from Australia leads. One more lap to go at heat number 8. Still from Ronnie Curry in second place. Mike Freer back in third, and Jason Lyons will be certainly very happy with proceedings at the moment. Comes up to take the flag and take the win. It's Lyons that gets there. Second place to Ronnie Curry and third place to Mike Freer. Well, what a start to this overseas final for number 12 there, Jason Lyons. 2 wins to his name and currently at top of the pack along with England's Calvin Tatum. So it's time to look at the old scoreboard, and in pole position Jason Lyons from Australia, Calvin Tatum from England, both on 6 points. Gary Havelock on 5 from England. Martin Dugard, England, gate 1. Ronnie Curry, blue, gate 2. Gary Havelock, white, gate 3. And Sam Ermolenko, yellow and black, gate 4. This, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, is heat number 9. Into that bend, they drive, and who's got it? Ronnie Curry's got the drop on Gary Havelock, on Simon Wigg, and it is just look at Ermolenko come around the outside of Wigg. It's all action, all change in this one. It's still Havelock comes from the back over Ronnie Curry, and also Ermolenko over Wigg. The action was fast and furious there, but it's Havelock that leads from Ronnie Curry in second place. Sam Ermolenko third. Simon Wigg still in fourth position. So Gary Havelock really riding like a man possessed. And it's got to be said, if he can hold on to this, surely he's booked a passage as early as the interval stage for a semi-final position. Ronnie Curry now coming under pressure from Sam Ermolenko. Ermolenko in yellow, Curry in blue. Havelock in white, in front. Ermolenko going out wide, cutting back on Ronnie Curry. Has he got the drop? Curry in blue, just watch these two. It's in the latter stages of heat number 9. Still Ermolenko coming around the outside of Ronnie Curry. Has he got him this time? And Ermolenko comes down to take second place, literally on the line from Ronnie Curry. Speedway of the highest order. What a race heat number 9 turned out to be. Gary Havelock comes from the back to win, but just look at the manoeuvres on the last 2 bends by sudden Sam Ermolenko and his fellow teammate at Wolverhampton, Ronnie Curry. And it's a race to the line, but it's just Ermolenko that gets the drop as they cross that checkered flag. Heat number 10, Jason Lyons. At the interval at the Jason Lyons leads from Shane Parker and Andy Smith. Andy Smith goes round the outside of Jason Lyons in superb style. Well, Andy Smith rides, of course, for Coventry now in the British League, but that was some breathtaking manoeuvre by him. Tragedy for Andy Smith last year when he broke his neck in a crash accident at Bradford. And he's back in action with Coventry this season. That really was a breathtaking manoeuvre from him. So Andy Smith leads in yellow and black from Jason Lyons. Now coming under pressure from Shane Parker. So Jason Lyons has got his work cut out to keep his fellow. Just look at Parker take him as well. So Shane Parker comes through to second place. And poor old Jason Lyons has had his work cut out here in heat number 10. White, Marvy Cox trying also to come into the fray, but all eyes are on the man in front. That's Andy Smith, and the battle for the minor placings. A great roar, I'm sure, from the Coventry faithful here, and we'll salute Andy Smith as he gets the win. But in second place on the line, it's Shane Parker who gets the 2 points. And Jason Lyons, the early leader, who has to be content with just 1 point. But congratulations, a from the back win for Andy Smith in a fabulous race, heat number 10. Of you to get through to the semi-finals. So Freer, Thorpe, Miller, Dugard in that order from 1 to 4. This is heat number 11. First one to show is Rick Miller in white. He's got the edge from yellow and black Martin Dugard. So Rick Miller leads. Dugard in second place. Trying to get that front wheel down onto the track. It's so easy to lift those bikes and lose control. Rick Miller leads, rides for Coventry of course, in the Sunbright League, and Mariestad in Sweden, and Rick Miller, who definitely like to get through to the semi-finals of the World Championship. Made that World Final appearance back in 1990 in Bradford's Alsall Stadium and had quite a good of account of himself. Recently married an English girl and are expecting a first child very shortly, so good luck to you, Rick. But on the Speedway bike he's still fast and furious, and heat number 11 looks in full control of this one. Martin Dugard will have things to say, I'm sure, about that one as he tries to come up the inside. Miller knows he's there, puts the wheels in line and goes round the final two bends. Coming up to take the win, it's going to be Rick Miller who gets there. Dugard in second place, and Mike Ferrier from the USA back in third position. So Rick Miller putting his knowledge of the Brandon circuit to good use in heat number 11. He gets the 3 points, 2 points to Martin Dugard and 1 to Mike Ferrier, the result of heat number 11. So we move on to heat number 12, the one before the interval stage here at Brandon this afternoon for the Overseas Speedway final. Kelvin Tatum unbeaten on 6 points, he's in red. Mark Thorpe blue, Mick Shearer in white, and Billy Hamill is in yellow and black. This is heat number 12. Clutches drop, the bike's roaring to that first turn, and the one who's got the drop is Mick Shearer. Mick Shearer from New Zealand leads, and coming through to join him in yellow and black is Billy Hamill. Kelvin Tatum in third at the moment, but it is Mick Shearer, mighty Mick Shearer, of course, from New Zealand, who's had several world final appearances. The Sunbright Kid, as he's known, leads from Billy Hamill, who's trying desperately hard to get on level terms with him. Mark Thorpe and Kelvin Tatum having their own little battle for third and fourth place respectively. Thorpe just with the edge. Mick Shearer now coming under pressure from Billy Hamill. Hamill cuts up the inside of Shearer. Has he got the drop? Shearer, is he going to keep his composure? Hamill on the inside, Shearer on the outside. Mighty Mitchell, who of course used to race for Coventry back in the late 70s. He makes a record this afternoon along with Kelvin Tatum. Their 8th appearance in an Overseas Speedway final, breaking the record of Chris Morton. But it's all about a race to the line now, and it's just going to be Mick Shearer gets there. Billy Hamill has to be content with second place. A fabulous scrap between those two in heat number 12. Mick Shearer gets the 3 points, 2 to Billy Hamill. Mark Thorpe gets 1 and none for Kelvin Tatum in fourth position. So that alters the old scoreboard, but let's take another look, breathtaking look at the closing stages of heat number 12. Mick Shearer in white, Billy Hamill in yellow and black. Now just look at Hamill in yellow and black, cut up the inside of Mick Shearer, gets his wheels in line just that little bit sooner than Mitch, and at that position is in front of Mick Shearer. But Mitch is not finished, he comes back, leans on the opponent, comes round, winds that throttle open.
Tough all round this one, everybody giving 100% today.
Yeah, it's a tough track. And when you get all top guys on it like this on the starting line, you never know what's going to happen in that first turn. And the main thing is today for me is to qualify, but at the moment I still have a chance of getting on top of that rostrum, so the next couple of races are going to be important.
So all the riders now had 3 outings at the interval stage here at Coventry, and Gary Havelock heads the pack on 8 points. Jason Lyons and Mick Shearer both on 7, dropped 2 points. Martin Dugard, Sam Ermolenko, who've just heard, is heat number 13. Up go the bikes and it roars into action, and the first one to show is Billy Hamill in red. Hamill leads, Jason Lyons and Gary Havelock there together, and look at Havelock go around the outside of Billy Hamill. So Havelock now takes the lead. Billy Hamill in second place. Back in third is Jason Lyons, and fourth is Martin Dugard. So still Havelock leads, a superb manoeuvre by him to take him to the front over Billy Hamill. Billy Hamill of course made his day. Oh, just look at Hamill go up in the air, and down he comes. Completely lifts in the air, and the two behind him, which was Jason Lyons and Martin Dugard, lead their bikes. And let's take another look in slow-mo. Up goes the wheel. Oh, terrible accident that is. Congratulations to Jason Lyons and to Martin Dugard for laying their machines down at very, very short notice. But Billy Hamill on the track, we see there Martin Dugard, who's also got that broken collarbone racing with it. That's certainly not going to do that any good whatsoever. Jason Lyons, who's having a few words with Kelly Moran there. And that's the sad side, is Billy Hamill is carted away on a stretcher. One of the most likeable characters in the Speedway circuit at the moment, and what a lovely smile he's got on his face. Let's hope that's soon back again, and the accident is going to cause too much discomfort to him. We'll try and get news on the pits as soon as we can on the injuries too, Billy, but in the meantime it's 3 riders only for the restaging of heat number 13. Up go the tapes on this one. Gary Havelock on the outside of Martin Dugard. Dugard now got the drop on Gary Havelock. Dugard in white leads. Havelock second. Jason Lyons back in third position. Jason Lyons has certainly been in the wars this afternoon with falls, and we can only hold our hats off to him. But it's Dugard who says thank you very much for the restart, and he's back into the fray with what could be 3 welcome points for his calls for progression to the semi-finals. Dugard leads in white, Havelock second in yellow and black, Lyons in third, and I'm sure he'll be just coasting round and waiting for his final outing to make sure of a semi-final place, but looking good. Dugard still leads. This will put him on to 9 points, and surely that would be enough to put him through to the semi-finals. Gary Havelock, he's on 8, this will give him 10, and these two surely now look for England's cause to be going through to that draw in Denmark shortly. Coming up to take the win, and it's going to be Oxford's Martin Dugard that gets there. Second place goes to Gary Havelock. In third place is Jason Lyons. So Martin Dugard comes back with a win, which surely now books his passage to one of those semi-finals with 3 points. Heat number 14, Andy Smith rides in red. He goes into gate number 1. Calvin Tatum also on 6 points with Smith. He's in gate 2 in blue. Mike Freya in white on 5 points, gate 3. And Sam Ermolenko on 6 points as well. So everybody in this race, if they can get the win, they probably would be through to the semi-finals. But it's a funny old game, you can't be sure of nothing in Speedway. The starting marshal just getting a little bit anxious with these riders to come in to take their positions. And the action in this one, I can assure you, is going to be fast and furious. Heat number 40. The first one to show as they go into that first turn is Calvin Tatum in blue. He leads. On the inside is Andy Smith, but Tatum has got the drop from Andy Smith. Calvin Tatum leads in blue. Andy Smith in second place behind him. Third place at this moment is Sam Ermolenko and Mike Freya in fourth position. So Freya beginning just to tail off in this Overseas Speedway final. But Tatum, after 2 good rides and a tough one in his third, looks good for 3 more points in his fourth outing. Andy Smith still back in second place, and Sam Ermolenko trying to make up ground on him. Calvin Tatum round these 2 bends at Brandon Stadium. Smith and Ermolenko having their own little battle as we enter the final lap. Tatum down the back straight for the final time. Now assured, surely a 3 more points. Coming up to take the flag, it's Tatum that gets there. Second place for Andy Smith, and Sam Ermolenko back in third place. So Calvin Tatum now goes on to 9 points after 4 outings, and that, I would think, has booked his passage through to the semis. Andy Smith gets to 2 points. He moves on to 8, and 1 point for Sam Ermolenko in third place. Heat 15, Ronnie Corrie rides in red. Rick Miller in blue. Mitch Shearer is in white, and Shane Parker in yellow and black. So there we see Mitch Shearer on 7 points. Rick Miller and Shane Parker need the points to get in. Just a little bit more breathing space between them and the rest of the riders, but Mitch Shearer is doing exceptionally well. Of course, he used to ride here at Brandon for Coventry in the late 70s, and such a keen competitor in World Championship. As they speed from the start, and the first one to show is the ride in red, Ronnie Corrie. Corrie and Shearer. Mitch Shearer now takes the inside line on Ronnie Corrie and speeds to the front. Mitch Shearer takes the lead. Ronnie Corrie in second place. Shane Parker third, in that order. And what a great manoeuvre by Mighty Mitch, who just comes up gracefully up the inside of Ronnie Corrie and literally caught him with his trousers down. So Mitch Shearer in white leads from Ronnie Corrie in second place. Still Shane Parker back in third place, but coming under pressure from Rick Miller. Still Shearer from Corrie, from Parker, from Miller in that order. Now Miller getting closer on Shane Parker's back wheel. Has he got anything left? Can he grab that solitary point? Those points could be so vital at the end of the day between satisfaction and disappointment. Then the back straight for the final time. It's going to be Mitch Shearer. Shaw is going to keep his nose in front and do New Zealand's cause the world of good here at Brandon. It's Shearer that gets the win. Second place is Ronnie Corrie, and third place goes to Shane Parker, and no points from Rick Miller. That's the result of Heat 15, and Mitch Shearer now goes on to double figures, and those 10 points assures Mitch Shearer of a semi-final place, either at Bradford's Otto Stadium or Wiener Neustadt in Austria in the middle of August. So heat 16, after which all of the competitors will have 4 rides here at Brandon Stadium. Fourth up, Ryan's in red. He goes in gate number 1, failing to score. Simon Wigg in blue, both failing to score. Both English riders looking to go out of the World Championship. Mark Thorpe from New Zealand on 2 points and Marvin Cox from England on 3. And these riders have got to do something, especially Cox. The others would have to say perhaps it could be a little bit too late for them. But Marvin Cox needs to win this one to give any hope of progression in the World Championship. Fourth up, the last one to settle, and of course he done so well in that World Final last year, finishing in 6th place in Ullevi Stadium on 10 points. As the tapes rise on heat number 16, and it is Thorpe who's got the drop. Fourth up leads. Blue is Wigg. Fourth up leads from Simon Wigg in 2nd place. Mark Thorpe is there as well with him in white, and Marvin Cox back in yellow and black in 4th position. So it's Paul Thorpe and Simon Wigg who just got a slight chance of perhaps getting one of those final qualifying places. And down goes the rider in white. Mark Thorpe disappears in the dust here at Brandon this afternoon. The race is stopped by the meeting referee, Niels Ringström from Sweden. Let's see if poor Mark Thorpe, who's also been in the wars this afternoon here at Coventry. Let's take another look. He just slides gracefully to the shale here and goes out to the fence and doesn't look to be any discomfort till the bike decides to run over him. So let's see Mark going back with Barry Briggs, the legendary Barry Briggs, of course. 4 World Championships to his name, 57, 58 and 64 and 66. So 3 riders only. Mark Thorpe excluded from the restart of heat number 16, and Paul Thorpe in red, Simon Wigg in blue. Those 2 were in 1st and 2nd place respectively when the race was stopped. And now this of course gives Marvin Cox another chance, another bite of the apple is to take the score on heat number 16. Up they go, the engines roar into that first turn, and it is Thorpe who's got there. Cox coming around the outside of Simon Wigg, but it's Thorpe who's got the drop. Cox in 2nd place, Wigg 3rd. So Paul Thorpe leads in red. Now look at Cox coming around the outside of him. Marvin Cox, sponsored by Auto Voice, has just got the drop on Thorpe. Thorpe comes back, very close between these 2, the red and yellow and black. And now Cox just with the breathing space between him and Paul Thorpe. And Simon Wigg is going to be a casualty here at Brandon this afternoon and drop out of the World Championship. That's a certainty. And also Paul Thorpe will join him if he drops points in this race. But Cox is going to give himself just a little chance. And it all depends on the riders in the last 4 outings here at Coventry this afternoon to see what happens. So Cox leads, still Thorpe in 2nd place. Wigg in 3rd. And Cox is going to hold on to the skin of his teeth to a chance. Currently on 3 points, this will give him 6, and with one more ride he can still do it. But it's Cox who wins. 2nd place goes to Paul Thorpe, and Simon Wigg has to be content with 3rd place, and he's out of the World Championship for 1992. So congratulations to Marvin Cox, who's back in the fray. So the scoreboard, after all riders have now had 4 outings, Gary Havelock and Mitch Shearer joint leaders on 10 points. 2 on 9, Martin Dugard and Calvin Tatum. 2 on 8, Jason Lyons and Andy Smith. Samuel Malenko started in Marshall calling them in. The track's been regraded. We now wait with bated breath to see which one of these 2 riders pops out of that start. They're already through to the semis, but they would dearly like to get that big trophy. And it's Shearer and Havelock, who's just got the drop of the moment, with Mike Ferrier in 2nd place, and Shearer coming around the outside of Mike Ferrier. So Havelock leads, Mitch Shearer 2nd, Mike Ferrier 3rd. Cox back in 4th position at the moment, they're making up ground on Ferrier. It is Gary Havelock, who took the British Championship here at Brandon 28 days ago, who's looking on course to add the overseas title to his name. And as at long last, Gary Havelock going to write his own chapter in British Speedway. So long been under the shadows of the likes of Calvin Tatum, but now he's just beginning to put his name to the front of British Speedway. Havelock leads still. Cox comes through to 3rd place. But 1 more lap to go, heat number 17. We're just going to see the man with number 1 on his back. And that's the position he's going to be here at Coventry this afternoon. His Cox comes underneath Shearer. But all eyes are on the first man who's going to take the flag and take the title of Overseas Champion of 1992. It's Gary Havelock that wins. Second place is Mick Shearer, but just look at the delight on this rider's face. And who can blame him? 18-point tally up to last weekend, the semi-finals of the Pennant Championship for England, and Will Carney comes to the stadium and lifts the 1992 Overseas Speedway Championship. Mick Shearer shakes his hand. He has to be content in second place. How well he's rode as well, and third place on that occasion, 1992. Thorpe red, Andy Smith blue, Bobby Ott coming in for reserve outing, replacing Billy Hamill. We've heard has damaged his wrist and shoulder. We keep our fingers crossed for you, Billy. It's not too serious, but it is Ronnie Curry that goes around the back. And Ronnie Curry leads, who desperately needs points. Ronnie Curry leads. Second place is Andy Smith. Third is Paul Thorpe. Ronnie Curry, who, well, hasn't really had a lot of success in the big ones, the World Finals that he's actually got to. Last season he started well in the Ulster Stadium, but finished up on 6 points and finished his 11th spot. Now he leads heat number 18, and would this be enough just to take him through? The calculators are going to have to come out. Ronnie Curry leads heat number 18 from, in second place, Andy Smith. This would do Curry's chances a world of good of getting through. Curry, a great competitor wherever he races for Wolverhampton, and what, along with Sam Ermolenko, a big reason they took that Division 1 title last season. But just look at Andy Smith trying to come up on race the line. It's just Ronnie Curry who holds on. Second place is Andy Smith, but he wasn't going to be outdone by Ronnie Curry. Made him fight all the way to the line. Curry gets the 3 points. 2 points to Andy Smith and 1 point to Paul Thorpe, finishing in third position. So, is that enough to put Curry through? We'll have to wait and see what happens in the final 2 races. But I'm sure Ronnie Curry is pleased with life at this moment in time. Coming round to the applause of the crowd, as is Andy Smith, who it's fair to say, coming back from that nasty injury in 1991, who really needs the points here. Jason Lyons and Calvin Tatum, just to pick up a couple of points, or a solitary point will be enough to put them through to the semi-finals. Bradford Zotzel Stadium on August the 9th for the first semi. Wiener Neustadt in Austria on the 15th of August for the second. And Poland is the world final on the 29th. So that's all taking place in August. This is heat number 19 here in June the 14th. There's a bike swarm from the start. Let's see who's got the drop. And it is the rider in blue, Jason Lyons. Jason Lyons with his nose in front, and coming up underneath him is Rick Miller. Rick Miller trying to get through. Jason Lyons leads though. White also there, Calvin Tatum, but it's Rick Miller. Oh! Jason Lyons lifts and through comes Rick Miller. Rick Miller gets first place from a mistake by Jason Lyons. Calvin Tatum trying to come through on Jason Lyons, and Lyons really brave to hold on to that second place. Calvin Tatum now taking the outside line, but Rick Miller with breathing space between him and Jason Lyons, and after shedding a chain, which is what he'd done in his first outing in heat number 1, Rick Miller coming back with a bang and going to finish this overseas speed just as Tatum come through on Jason Lyons to take second place. Will he be able to hold on? We're on the last lap now of heat number 19. Tatum in second place behind Rick Miller. Miller on 5 points. This will mean he will end this overseas final on 8 points. And will it be enough? He comes up to take the win. It's Rick Miller that does it and gets the win. Second place to Calvin Tatum, and Jason Lyons has to be content with just 1 point. So Rick Miller wins and gets the 3 points. Congratulations to him, and I'm sure he's going to be pleased with life at the moment. 2 points to Calvin Tatum, coming from the back over Jason Lyons. And poor old Jason Lyons, who, well, has had a bit of a battering here at Brandon this afternoon. He finishes on 1 point, and I'm sure he'll be pleased with life with that. Programme right, we've got to wait to see if we need any extra races for lower to those semi-final stages as the takes rise and they go into that first turn. Martin Dugard leads. Sam Ermolenko comes down the outside him, and Shane Parker. It is Ermolenko who drives down the back straight and takes the lead from Shane Parker. Shane Parker in second place. Third place in yellow and black is Mark Thorpe, and Martin Dugard probably saying, I've done enough this afternoon to assure my place and I'm not going to take any further risks. But it's Sam Ermolenko currently on 7 points, who, well, these three will put him in the double figures, and I'm sure that's just psychological for him. Make sure he's got through to the good semi-finals. Still in second place is Shane Parker, and if he can stay in this position, that will mean he will go into a run-off for the reserve position along with Maureen Cox. So just one rerun to have, or one run-off should I say, for the reserve position, but it's all same plain sailing to know who goes through now to the semi-finals. Samuel Malenko coming up to take the win in Heat 20, and it's Malenko gets there. Second place is Shane Parker, and in third place is Mark Thorpe. So Samuel Malenko ends proceedings here this afternoon with 3 points. 2 points go to Shane Parker and 1 point to Mark Thorpe. So we now know the cut for the semi-final stages from Brandon Stadium. We know the 9 qualifiers who go on, and we know the 7 riders who will have to live to fight another day. Although with injuries, anything can happen this sport. Commiserations to poor old Billy Hamill, who we've heard is broken a wrist and damaged his shoulder. We wish you a speedy return to the track, Billy. But it's Samuel Malenko who ends up proceeding to those 3 points in heat number 20. So Gary Havelock is the 1992 Overseas Speedway champion. He wraps up proceedings. Prize on this run-off for just the reserve spot. Parker red, Cox in white. And it's Parker the leads at the moment. Cox coming up the inside of him. Cox drives to the front. Nothing given on that third and fourth turn as Cox comes through. 1 lap gone, Marvin Cox leads. Parker in second place. And with the injury situation in the world of Speedway at the moment, it's probably worth noting that this reserve could be used and go forward. And just look at what happened to Tony Rickardson in 1991. Came in at reserve for the semi-final, then went on to finish second in the Ullevi Stadium, the Janno Pedersen of Denmark. So Marvin Cox might have a further say in the World Championship if it goes his way and riders fall out through injury. We're on the final lap of the run-off. Marvin Cox surely set now to be the reserve from this Overseas Speedway final. Coming around the final 2 bends of this run-off, and it's Marvin Cox who comes up to take the win. Cox gets the reserve spot from Brandon this afternoon, and Shane Parker has to live to race another day, but he's done Australia proud this afternoon. So let's take a look then at the complete and utter scoreboard from this Overseas Speedway final as those 2 riders shake hands down the back straight. We know that Gary Havelock is the 1992 Speedway champion, Overseas Speedway champion on 13 points. Second place goes to Mick Shearer from New Zealand on 12, Calvin Tatum third on 11. They're followed by Samuel Malenko on 10, Andy Smith on 9, Martin Dugard on 9, and Jason Lyons, how well he's rode this afternoon. Rick Miller on 8, and Ronnie Corrie also on 8 points. Marvin Cox will go through as meeting reserve.